When we look back at Egypt, we all have the exact same feeling. If only I was there. If only I could just get on some machine and get back in time and go see it for myself and accept it for whatever it is. To understand fully who built the pyramids, to understand fully what did they look like, what did they eat, what did they think, what did they talk about, were they better than us, were they worse than us, did they smell good, did they smell bad, why were they dressed the way they were. These questions seem impossible to answer. Without any way of going back in time, it seems lost. But is it? Well, according to astrophysicist Ron Mallet, it is not. Ron Mallet is an astrophysicist who spent his entire life dedicated to the task of creating time travel. At first, he studied Einstein's theory of relativity and focused deeply on it. And now it seems like he has made some breakthroughs that will take us further and further. Not to mention that scientists themselves have opened up gateways into how time travel could be possible. But first, we have to know Ron Mallet.
Technical school to become an electronic technician. So I thought if I go into I went into the Air Force and I decided that I could try to save up the money and that the GI Bill was reinstituted again. And so I knew that I could use that to go to college. So that's what I did. Right out of high school, I went right into the Air Force. And when I got out, I went to Penn State, okay, and to major in physics.
Mhm.
But I still kept it to myself what I was interested in because I knew that this was not going to be a good strategy. So I developed another strategy. And that's what I did. I studied black holes and I studied the Big Bang theory of the universe. I became a specialist in Einstein's general theory of relativity. And I should mention, as a theoretical physicist, I didn't do experiments. What I did was I used mathematical equations to try to understand the possibility of time travel and how what Einstein had to say.
Now, I understand that this topic is made for dreamers, and most of the time, the only people who even talk about these things are people who think that it might even be close to possible, which is a very tiny piece of the population, especially of those who take themselves very seriously. But if a scientist can take himself seriously and believe this, why shouldn't I? Not to mention that there are other scientists who take it very, very, very seriously.
Is the fact that my work was based on Einstein's theory of relativity, Einstein's general theory of relativity. So it's not that you can just simply come up with a weird idea. It has to be based on established scientific fact. And Einstein's general theory of relativity had been proven to be valid with many different experiments.
Interestingly, he figured out that one of the things that would be very important in turning around people's thoughts in this is to focus on something that might deal in time travel itself, something less heavy, something that really didn't have any weight at all, light. And for him, it was laser light. And this is where his ideas really shot to the moon.
There's a little known aspect in Einstein's theory. We all are familiar with the fact that matter can create gravity. Okay. The gravity of the Earth keeps us anchored, the gravity of the sun keeps the Earth in orbit. But in Einstein's theory, something else can create gravity that in Newton's theory it can't. Light itself can create gravity. Light itself can cause a bending of space. Even though light is matter, the energy of light can create gravity. And that's where my breakthrough is based on. Because let's look at this logically. We know that gravity can affect time, right? If gravity can affect time and light can create gravity, then light can affect time. So my breakthrough was to say, let's manipulate light. And if we can manipulate light, we can manipulate time. And what I found, and when I say found, remember, I'm a theoretical physicist, so I did this all mathematically. What I found was that if you, there's a real device, it's called a ring laser, by the way. And now if I hadn't been at United Technologies
Hmm.
studying lasers, I would not have known about this device called a ring laser. That was a key for my breakthrough because a ring laser is just simply a device. If you have a set of mirrors, you can bounce laser light off of the mirrors and you can get laser light to go into a loop. Okay. You can see where this might be going. If I have laser light going into a loop, then this laser light is going to create a sort of a circulating gravitational field. But now, what did I already say about a circulating gravitational field of a rotating black hole? It can create loops in time. So if I'm able to show that a circulating light beam can cause this twisting of space, which I did mathematically, then it could lead to a twisting of time into a loop. So a circulating beam of laser light could lead to loops in time and could lead to the possibility of time travel to the past. So my breakthrough was to show mathematically a laser generated time machine.
Now, it might seem like this guy has had way too much coffee, but in real life, he actually was hitting on something very important. And the weirdness of light has been detected by several people in actual science. And here's the strange part. So light is made of photons. Well, what do we know about recent developments of photons? Well, see for yourself. In 2022, researchers proved that a quantum time flip can go backwards in time, and this is through the observation of the photon. And so, Dr. Ronald Mallet was accurate in his assumptions that the thing that should be utilized is light. One thing about his thing that makes it interesting is that since photons are made of light, light is how we see, it might then be possible that we could, even though we don't travel back in time, see back in time. And being able to see back in time is, to me, just as good as traveling back in time. As we read, quantum time flip makes light move simultaneously forwards and back in time. The time flipped photon can't be used to restage Back to the Future, but it could help us figure out some of the universe's most mysterious phenomena. For the first time, physicists have made light appear to move simultaneously forward and backward in time. The new technique could help scientists improve quantum computing and understanding quantum gravity. By splitting a photon or packet of light using a special optical crystal, two independent teams of physicists have achieved what they describe as a quantum time flip in which a photon exists both forward and backwards in time states. The effect results from the convergence of two strange principles of quantum mechanics, the counterintuitive rules that govern the behavior of the very small. The first principle's quantum superstitions enables minuscule particles to exist in many different states or different versions of themselves at once until they are observed. The second charge parity and time reversal symmetry states that any system containing particles will obey the same physical laws even if the particle charges, spatial coordinates, and movement through time are flipped as if through a mirror.
So, so where are we now in the research?
Well, that remember what I said was I'm a theoretical physicist.
Okay.
That's important because Einstein came up with this famous equation equals mc squared back in 1905. It wasn't until the 30s that his equation was shown to have practical significance with nuclear fission.
Yeah, hi. Recently, I came across an interview with Joe Rogan, and I was pleased to find out that he discussed my work in time travel. And it was very interesting. And it is possible to travel through time, both to the past and to the future. Interestingly enough, we can already go to the future. A lot of people don't realize that. And we're working on going to the past. And he mentioned the fact that it might take the energy of the sun in order to travel to the past. And it might require even more energy than that. But I think that, it was an interesting interview. And the thing is that I think if Joe is listening, I'd like to tell him that I'd be happy to talk about the real possibilities of time travel and what we have been able to discover in science based on Einstein's theories. And I think your listeners would find it fascinating too. So I hope you have a chance to view this.